What's up, Whittier?
Welcome to What's Up, Whittier, a homegrown podcast.
A podcast to showcase Whittier's businesses, personalities, and hidden treasures.
Hey guys, producer Christine here with this week's Community Corkboard announcements. Every Friday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. we have the Uptown Whittier Farmers Market located on the corner of Philadelphia and Bright. So just in case you are not subscribed to the Whittier Uptown Association newsletter, you should definitely get on that because I'm going to read the events from that email. So you can go to whittieruptown.org and subscribe today. Save the date. April 6th, the Whittier Uptown Association is having their annual Art and Antique Spring Fair from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. I believe it's going to be down Philadelphia. It's always a great thing to come out, and you can always meet all these wonderful people who really put time into all of these crafted artisanal pieces. So it's definitely fun. You guys should go. And if you are interested in being a vendor, the deadline is March 8th. So again, visit whittieruptown.org for more information on that. This Thursday, January 31st, the Whittier Chamber presents Sweet Success Business Expo 2019 at the Whittier Community Center, 7630 Washington Avenue. Come on down to meet some wonderful business owners and get to know your community better. There will be free food, there will be tons of free marketing swag. It'll be great. Just trust me, come on out and we'll see you there. On Saturday, February 2nd, enjoy coffee with the Congresswoman. Congresswoman Linda Sanchez will be at La Monarca Bakery, 6001 Rosemead Boulevard, Pico, Rivera, 90660. Again, on Saturday, February 2nd from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. So just make sure when you go, tell her you loved her podcast episode and you can't wait for her to do the next one. Friday, February 8th at 5:30 p.m., join Seroptimus International Whittier Dreamliner for their Aloha Cruise fundraiser. Seroptimus International Whittier is a great organization here. You'll learn a little bit more when their episode comes up to discuss their cruise. Just make sure to go to their website, siwhittier.org, to purchase your ticket today. On Saturday, February 9th, from 12:30 to 4 p.m., join Bridge of Faith, a wonderful nonprofit here in the city of Whittier, for Quartermania. What is Quartermania? It's a cross between an auction, a raffle, and bingo, with each bid between 1 to 4 quarters only. You could win prizes for as little as 1 quarter. And I'm just telling you, not only is Bridge of Faith a great organization that helps, young foster youth that just come out of the system kind of get their bearings in adjusting to adult life, but it's also a lot of fun. I did the last one that was at Sage, and I won 2 manicures. Little stickers are super adorable, and honestly it cost me 50 cents. You can go online to Eventbrite. We'll put the ticket link in the bio. You can go to Eventbrite, buy your ticket online, and yeah, it'll be great. Just $10 to get in. So again, this is a great organization, Bridge of Faith. Let's all support them, and I hope to see you there Saturday, February 9th at the Roadhouse from 12:30 to 4. Wednesday, February 13th, join the Art Stroll Uptown for their Valentine pop-up art and boutique. So it's hosted inside of Sage. Head on down to Sage and you'll be able to enjoy seeing beautiful art. You know, not only do people create art, right, but they also create jewelry and a lot of fun little trinkets to have and just to appreciate. So grab your sweetheart, get on out, go get some dinner on February 13th because you know all the couples are going to be out on the 14th. And also, if you don't have a significant other, get your gal pal. That's Galentine's Day. So head on to the Valentine pop-up in Uptown Whittier on February 13th. Homeowners, did you know that as of January 2017, you can now add a second unit on your property? You can rent the smaller second unit while you live in your primary home. When you outgrow your primary home, rent out the home and move into the smaller second unit. J2 Architects will be holding 2 upcoming workshops on second units. Call or text 562-522-0056 if you'd like more information. The 2 workshops on second units will be on February 16th and March 2nd in Uptown Whittier. Again, just call or text 562-522-0056 to RSVP your spot today, and you'll also receive other information, just about what's upcoming and also the address for where the workshop will be held. All right, everybody, that's all I have for you this week in the Community Corkboard announcements. If you'd like to send us any more information, email us at communitycorkboard@whatsupwhittier.com, or you can just email me, producer Christine. I see it anyway, Christine@whatsupwhittier.com. You can follow me and all of my social media stuff. I have a Facebook page you could like, Christine Singer Luna. You can follow me on Instagram at The Singing Moon, or you can just check out my website if you need a notary, ChristineSingerLuna.com. And again, if you need a notary, just let me know. I am here for your notarial needs. And we also have 2 other professionals who are part of the What's Up Whittier team. In his free time, Jessie is an architect. So follow Jessie from J2 Architects. Like I mentioned earlier, be sure you visit his workshops. Check out all of his social media. Go to j2architects.com. You can go to Facebook and Instagram at J2 Architects. And don't forget to follow Remo the Realtor. Remo is a local realtor, and you can follow him at Remo the Realtor at everything. Go to remotherealtor.com. Get his weekly email. That's always really fun. And join his Facebook group. Remo is a marketing maven, so, you can find him all over the internet if you Google his name. And also, don't forget to subscribe to What's Up Whittier, the podcast. If you have friends that live in Whittier, or they don't live in Whittier, but you want them to know how great this town is, tell them to listen to the podcast and to subscribe. Thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button right now. I know that's what you just did. And thank you so much for downloading this podcast episode and for listening to us. So I think that's all I have for you this week. Alrighty, take it away, Jessie and Remo.
What's up, Whittier?
Dun, da, da, da.
Remo.
That's Jessie.
How's it going?
It's going.
Haven't seen you in a while.
Yes, the weather's nice.
Oh, man,
we
it's
got
awesome.
a lot of days of rain.
That's right.
We were doing some home repairs, and so the rain kind of got us right in where it shouldn't have got us, but we survived.
But you took care of it.
We did. I was shoveling mud for a day.
Shoveling mud off your shoes.
My shoes all went in the washer. I'll tell you one invention, and this is just being a single guy moving over to being a married guy. Once now that my shoes got dirty and covered in mud, like 3-4 pairs, I would think, I'll maybe throw them away or rinse them. Eva puts them in the washer, and they come out so
Brand
new. It's like, I'm never going to buy shoes again.
No, what she doesn't tell you is that she goes and buys you the same identical shoes, and she just...
It's the best deal in town. So for any single guys out there that were in my shoes, literally, just wash them. Throw them in the washer,
No, it
and
works,
you're going to
man.
get new shoes. So.
That's right. Talk about home renovations. So I don't know if you've heard. So I'm working on putting together a little event on accessory dwelling units.
Shameless plug. Go ahead, Jessie.
No, I want to see if you know and if anybody's heard. I mean, or people are interested. So now, again, beginning of the year, last year, 2018, sorry, there was a state law that was passed where you could add on a second unit on your existing R1 single-family zone. So what that means for you as a property owner is that you can now have a legal second unit that you can rent out, whether it's family, kids. Nowadays the whole Gen X where parents are bringing back their elderly kids or older kids and vice versa. So now you could do that, and then by the time they're ready to move on, now you have an additional second unit that you can rent and make additional income. So now you don't have that burden of a large mortgage. So.
Correct.
Did you know about that?
I did. We talk about it here and there, and I know we talked about maybe doing a workshop to educate people on that idea. But it's for those people that are out there listening. You spend maybe $100,000. You build this additional unit. If you decide to rent it, whatever that mortgage would be, you would. If it's $400 mortgage, you would make probably about $1,000 a month. So
that's about yeah.
I mean, the numbers pencil out really well.
So, anyways, the reason I'm bringing it up is just again, we're working on trying to put something together. And anybody out there who's interested in participating in this workshop or wants to learn a little bit more about it, check in, give me a call, or you could send me an email, and we could help you out with additional information on that. So if you're looking to add a unit, you got your guy here. Yeah. There you go.
Just move out. Just sell your house. No,
or if you're looking to buy or sell, call Remo. Call me first, though.
Jessie, we have a special guest. We have an icon in our area, in the Uptown area.
Talk about personalities and you know, of people who are known here in the Uptown area. I know we've tried getting you on before, and obviously scheduling-wise, it's never kind of happened. But with everything that you got going on, I mean, it was about time, right? So with that said, who do we have, Remo?
Marilin, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Marilin, I guess tell us a little bit about who you are, and then a little bit about your business.
Okay. Well,
For those that don't know you.
For those that don't know me, well, I'm Marilin Brinegar. I'm the owner of Bain in Uptown Whittier, 22-year business. Started in September of 1996, and we're still going strong. So I started that business 22 years ago. I am an ex-banker, so I worked for a bank for almost 20 years, and with the merger acquisitions, which many banks were doing, my husband and I were both laid off, and we both ended up finding different career paths. So I ended up on unemployment for a while, and then I decided to take my severance package money that I received and unemployment and open up a small business and start to do something for myself without having to go work again in the corporate world. I really wasn't anxious to go work for a different bank after working for one organization for almost 20 years. So I decided at that time then just to open a small business. Yeah. So I always had a desire to, for some reason, in my travels with the bank, going to many different cities, having time off in the evening to go shopping. And I always admired going into different stores and little boutiques and places that sold body care and candles and soaps and things that just made you smell pretty and feel good about yourself. So I think that's how the idea was sparked some time ago, and I decided to sit down and figure it out. So I found my little location on Greenleaf, and well, it's not a very little location.
It's not little.
It's a pretty big location. I have a 2,600 square foot store. I started out probably, very skeleton looking. I'm sure most of the community said, yeah, this store will only be here about 6 months and it'll be gone. But I think after 22 years, I've made a statement. The store is awesome. I have awesome products, awesome staff, awesome customers who have been supporting my business for 22 years, and literally the city of Whittier and outside communities come and shop, and shop seasonally and every day they can get up here.
If you had to describe Bain, like what would, can you describe what kind of products and what it is that you have?
Yeah, well, Bain originally is a French name. It's for the bath. It was a name that I kind of toyed around with 22 years ago. I was trying to come up with a really catchy name for the store. Mm-hmm. And a few friends of I always sat around and, came up with this name. So started branding that name. I used a bathtub. Had my own artwork done and everything to kind of capture that, image of the store. And it was kind of a French country theme that I wanted to decorate with. I did mostly pine floor and mostly French country decorations inside. And, since started catering and bringing in products for the entire family. So children, men, women, body care for everybody, so that you could come in and buy a gift for a child, or if they needed a bubble bath, or a bubble bath for a lady, or a gift for a man. So I wanted to make sure that I had products for everybody, every gender in the family, and make it a family type of business. Mm-hmm. So evolved from that, and now it's a little bit different climate. 22 years later. Business is still awesome, but we also have those struggles with online business too. And so it's a little bit different. We have to be unique and quite creative, I guess, today to make it a place that people want to come and check out, those people that still like to shop, that still like to touch and feel and smell and rub it on versus buying it online. But it happens, you know. You'll have the person who comes in one time and makes the first purchase, and then you may never see them again because now they can buy it online, and it's a little easier for them to shop. So there's a need for online. I think, you know, for me when it first started years ago, I thought great for shut-ins, people that are handicapped. Awesome. You know, they can call and have it delivered and they get the things that they need. I feel sad. You know, it's sad for me to see that more and more of it's leaning in that direction. I mean, I even have to buy things online myself. I don't like to because I have a small business and I would much rather support a small business to buy it. But there are things that you just simply can't find. And those businesses are no longer available to go shop.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of how it evolved. 22 years of, you know, being on Greenleaf, beautiful city. Love this community. I live here, and it has a lot to offer. It's a really unique place, and in the middle of this nice little town, and you know, it's still very down. You know, it's just down to earth and very mainstream USA still. You know, and it hasn't been taken over by too many big box type of businesses, at least at this point. You know, where we're at.
Now, you started by saying it started off as a skeleton. Now there's a lot of things in there.
Yeah.
Can you maybe share what someone, if they walk through the store, what kind of products are they? Because again, me, at one point being a single guy, I hear Portland Bain and I think, okay, bathtub. But for me, it's just a bar of soap and some shampoo.
Well,
but there's more to there than. So you want to tell us what your product line would.
Well, before you go into that, you're right. I mean, it's one of those things where even when I came in, it was more of you think about like a women's place, and it has to do with everything for women, right? I've been there a couple of times, and actually a product that I bought that I'm going to gift you for Christmas or on your birthday is your the famous, was it Poopery? Or
Poopery, yeah, we bought that as well.
So I'm going to buy you the industrial size.
Yeah.
The best wedding gift you can give someone. The gift that keeps on giving. Yeah.
So I got that, and then I got the my kids a custom bar soap. So that was for them. It was like the best thing, man. Like just being able to wash their hands with this custom soap. But again, you're right. You don't think about other products for other people, family wise. But yeah, I mean, I guess is there anything that like it's flying off the shelves that are not for women?
Well, the spray for the toilets have been amazing. It's been an amazing ride for at least going on over 6 years now, and that wasn't something that I actually even knew about. It was a customer who called me one day and asked me if I carried it, and I thought it was the flowery potpourri that you put in a bowl for holiday, And I told her, "Ma'am, that's really dated. Nobody buys that product anymore." And then she said, "Oh, no, ma'am, that's not what it is. It's a spray for the toilet." And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" So I finally hung up with her and looked it up and then called the company, got a sample, and crazy enough, I didn't ever take her name. And it was so bad for marketing for your own business. You don't even take the person's name down that's asking you for something. And I ended up I did a very small order because for me, I've never really gone really big into anything until I know how it's going to work in my store. And so I think I ordered like 6 dozen was the minimum order, and I got them in the store, and boom, just day one, they started flying out, and then about 2 weeks later, the lady called me back on the phone.
No way.
She said, "Ma'am, did you ever look into that spray for the toilet?" And I said, "Oh my God, ma'am, I got a good 6 dozen, and they're just blowing out of here like a breeze."
Everyone's pooping,
and
everyone's
pooping,
spraying.
they're all happy now, So she came, she goes, "Save me 3 bottles, I'll be right down." So she's been my customer ever since, and
nice.
It's something to tell you the truth and not to dwell on this too much. But 22 years ago, nobody would ever come in my store and ask me for any product that would make their bathroom smell good, you know, and or you'd always know if they were looking for matches or a candle. You know, and I did have one gentleman one year said, you have to get this candle in a really large size because it's the only thing that works in my bathroom. And so I laughed because, I mean, I stood there with my jaw open because nobody would ever say that. And it was kind of like I turned almost red. I'm like, you didn't just say that. He goes, well, what? It's normal. Everybody does it. I'm like, well, it is, but it's not something people normally come in to ask me for. So, but now it's like number one topic of discussion.
Nice.
And everybody comes in and talks about it, and they talk about how well it works. And, you know, I've only offended one person in the 7 years I've been selling it, and the guy just couldn't take the conversation too much, so he ended up leaving. But
Tom, let's spray this and see what.
Yeah,
it's
I mean, I felt like just giving him a bottle, try it, and then come back and you tell me what you think. But you know, it's funny. It's a great product. It had I thought it was going to have a life capacity, you know, a few years, but now the unfortunate part is that the company has gone and sold it out, and they've sold out to Target and Bed Bath & Beyond, and you can find it in quite a few places now, even in Uptown Whittier, more than one of us have it. But it's okay. You know, I have my customers, they buy it from me. If you want to go to Target, you can buy it there. If you want to go to Bed Bath & Beyond, you know, I see you don't want to come all the way, you know, 10 miles into Whittier. It's great. Yeah. But I sell through that product every month, so it's an amazing. It's good. It's an amazing. I offer for wedding gifts, for bridal shower, travel, large groups, yachts, anything that you're on in a small environment. You
need to poop.
And you need to poop. You got to go. It's
you know, talking about weddings, I want to thank you. The wedding gift you gave us, I don't think I wanted to use it for about 3-4 months until we ran out of soap. So it was a
custom.
It was a custom soap, and it was a bride and groom, and they were attached, and it was one soap, and then you kind of separate it. The husband and wife are. I don't even know if I'm explaining it right, but as we started using it, we stopped using it for a couple weeks. I'm like, but it's gonna like disappear because it's soap. Yeah. So we put it to the side, and I didn't use it. And then we needed soap again, and so I used it. But it was really nice. It was really soft. I don't know what. Yeah,
it's a glycerin, vegetable glycerin base, and the company that makes that soap is Primal Elements, and they're a local company out of Huntington Beach. They're very fun people. They are an amazing husband and wife team. They started their business in Long Beach on 2nd and Pine. They had a small retail boutique like I do, small, in Long Beach, and they started making that soap. I think in their garage originally, and bringing it to their store to sell, and it started selling really well. So, you know, that's how they started, and then they closed their business down and opened a small warehouse, and they've grown amazing. You know, in 25 years, I'm sure they've been in business longer than I have. They do a lot for handicapped people. They for cancer, for prostate cancer, breast cancer. They donate. If you buy a bar of their soap, they donate 10%, I believe, of their of the purchase to those organizations. So they're an amazing company. I've been selling their soap for 22 years, 21 years, I guess. Maybe the first year I didn't have it. And it has never stopped selling. So it's amazing because you can cut it. It's by the slice. People like to see it being sliced, and it just makes a nice gift. Yeah, like for that, nice. They have certain specialty things like with wedding. They have an apple, so we do that for teachers. Just, you know, they have Christmas soaps, so they do a whole line of Christmas. They have Valentine's Day right now, so we stock those. And, you know, they just make a nice little gift for under $10. It's a great stocking stuffers, too. So.
Plus, what I like about your store is that you guys do, like, a nice wrapping for... Yeah, like you guys are included the wrapping as part of the purchase.
Yes.
And so that's again, when I bought the soap, my kids were excited. Like, what you get us, you know?
Yeah, I think gift wrapping has been a huge part of my business. Yeah. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to make it work so it would be cost effective too, but still to have it leave my store with that branding. So I've kept the same boxes and same type of wrapping for years and years and years. And it's really funny because I always think Christmas morning, all these people that shop in the store through December, all these boxes that, are fleur-de-lis printed with my store label on it are getting opened right now on Christmas morning. And it's just it's a wonderful feeling. But gift wrapping has been a huge part of my business because I think it's a one-stop shop. You shop, you find something really nice that you like, and then we'll wrap it. And even during the holidays, we buy stickers, the Christmas labels, and we have the customers fill them out, and then we just put them on the boxes so that when they leave, they don't have to figure out what it is, who it is, and, that way it makes it a lot easier for them and us, too, because when you're wrapping, everything starts to look the same, especially during the holidays, and you have to be able to tell it apart. So we did that about 5 years ago. We started doing the labels. Customers love it. They think it's like the really neatest thing that we do for them, and they just get a kick out of filling them all out, and then we stick them on the boxes for them, and they leave, and they just can leave and go home and put it under the tree.
That's awesome.
So 22 years in the area. What are some of the big changes that you've seen so far in the area?
Well, there's not a whole lot of change other than I think we are starting to get there. It looks like there is going to be a movement now. I've been waiting myself 22 years for that to happen. 22 years ago, people were saying, 5 years, wait 5 years and, it'll happen. And I waited 5 years and it still didn't happen. So another 5 years. And so I've put a lot of time into it. So I'm glad to see that it's finally going to get redeveloped and maybe become what everybody wants Uptown to be. All of the, community, they know where it was at one time, and I think that's kind of what we're all looking forward to see Uptown revitalize and become a destination for people to come and eat and shop and have fun and play and not have to leave our community to go to another community to do that. And I think we have that opportunity. I think with the brewery coming in, that's just a huge, going to be a huge impact, I think, on Uptown. And I hope that it's just very successful with thousands and thousands of people coming through Uptown and the brewery every day. That'd be awesome to see that kind of flow of traffic hit our streets. That is dynamic, and I think that there's a lot of change like that. I think having Uptown look its appearance to be much cleaner, I think that is a big plus for me to see the change of things in Uptown as far as the cleanliness of the city.
What about the trees? I mean, they weren't as big as they are now. Do you remember back then when you first started?
It's funny because the trees were put in, I think, like 35 years ago. And at the time, they were small trees.
Yeah.
So they didn't really bother too much because they were small. But when they were in there probably about 15 years, they started to block a lot of store frontage.
Yeah.
And I think they were a problem for a lot of businesses, and they didn't really realize that the type of tree they were putting in was going to grow, 50 feet high. So they've been about the same. It seems like the same height since I've been there. They've probably grown a bit too. But they've always been way above the buildings. And, for a while we were doing lighting in the trees. The city used to light up the trees for years and years and years. And then we had our own lighting program going on. And then, again, with monies and things like that, those projects went away. So I think bringing them back, bringing lighting, especially lighting in Uptown, lighting it up and giving it that feeling of being a bright and lovely place to be. I think that will help a lot if they can continue to try to get more of that. I do my event every month, the Art Stroll, through Friends of Uptown, which is the nonprofit that was created through the Uptown Association originally a few years ago. And that was created when there was no redevelopment money anymore. The state of California needed that money. So all the redevelopments, I believe, at city levels were closed down, and the money was mandated to the state. And so Friends of Uptown was originated by the association executive director, because at that time I think they felt that we could get money from community people through a nonprofit. So they created a 501(c)(3) to do that. So we could get public funds to bring back to Uptown to do sidewalk cleaning, to do lighting, and to do some of those projects that we were no longer going to be doing without city funds and city money. So when CBD, or the new WUIA groups, started, then, Friends really, it's there. We still are a nonprofit. So I'm using it right now to work with the art stroll, and to do the art stroll every month, every second Wednesday. And hopefully the money that I make from that, I'd like to put back into Uptown. So my idea was a mural project for the parking structure.
Before you get into the mural,
can I ask? Can you take us through maybe the evolution of the art stroll for those that never attended? Where kind of did it start? How long you've been doing it, and maybe where it is now?
Yeah, like what it is.
Sure. 2 years ago in September, we did art events in Uptown Whittier when I first got here 22 years ago. We did art walks 2 times a year. So with that said, we used to have events like that, and they kind of go away when boards change. It was a part of the association. The Whittier Uptown Association did these art walks through the board, and board members chairing those events. But like new events come on and old events drop off. So when art, I guess, maybe art events like that and antique events sort of died down a little bit, the board didn't do the art event any longer in Uptown. So, for quite a few years now, we haven't had anything like that. And it seems like I was noticing that there were more events popping up in downtown LA once a month, in Brea, in La Habra, and a lot of little just different festivals that keep popping up here and there in communities. So I thought to myself, why can't we start something like this again, And so I approached the association, but it wasn't something at the time that they wanted to take on. So since Friends of Uptown was part, we could still be a part of the board and maybe start up this new pop-up feature. So I decided to go to my neighbors, a few people next to me, my business owners, and see if they'd be interested in staying open a little later on a Wednesday night and maybe serve some hors d'oeuvres and refreshments and start this event. So it started that way. I had, when I think I started, I had 8 to 9 businesses and maybe 11 artists. And so it's been growing and growing now for 2 years. I've continued to work on it every second Wednesday of the month. And we're now 2 years, a little over 2 years, and we have probably a couple hundred artists now.
Wow.
And I have well over 30, 40 businesses that participate. We're moving it around from block to block, but now we're kind of stabilized in the middle of Greenleaf because we're using the grass lot for some artists. And artists like to be together. They like to clump together in events because they tend to go to different events together, so they tend to know each other. Yeah. It seems to work better with that in that environment for them. So right now we're doing it inside at Sage because of the colder weather. It's so cold to be outside in the evening because it's from 5 to 9. So, and then weather-wise, rain and things we're just not sure about. So for the last couple of months, we've been doing it inside Sage. They have a huge space in there, and I had well over 50 artists in December. January was a little bit slower because of transitioning from New Year to this year, but we're expecting a really good crowd on February 13th. We're having our event there again because of the weather. But I'm hoping to, fill it up with artists, and I'm really hoping to get the community to come out and check it out. That's been a little struggle to get our community out here. I'm not sure if they they don't know that the art stroll is going on. There's only a certain amount of social media that I can do. Yeah. I post it on Nextdoor. I go to the meetings, and I try to get it out there as much as possible. But
the concept is to try to bring that artist or an exhibit to a business, so they could cross-promote each other, right?
Exactly. And
hopefully, draw the community, essentially make it a destination event for that day. And it helps everybody, right?
Right.
And you said it's on Wednesdays, obviously.
It's the second Wednesday of the month. We've kept it that way for the last 2 years. Yeah, the idea was to bring people to the community so that they could take advantage of our restaurants and our dining, and then maybe have a bite to eat and walk around and visit the artist, or vice versa, visit the artist and then have a bite to eat. It would be lovely if I can get my businesses to cross-promote as well, their artist and the event. It would help tremendously. It's a little struggle right now for me to get everybody to put it on Instagram or Facebook. But I think that's the way it's going to build into one of these awesome art events like some other cities are having right now. I think it's always starts small.
Correct.
And then you have to grow, and sometimes it takes a few years to get it to become that amazing event. But I think we have enough local artists in the area. We have a beautiful art gallery on Painter. The Whittier Art Gallery has been there for its 85th year this year. They're celebrating. They have just received their historic designation. So there's something happening at the art gallery every month, and a lot of our community doesn't even know that that's going on every month at our art gallery here.
Do they participate somehow with you, or are they involved?
Well,
or?
I'm on their board.
Okay.
So they want us to reciprocate with Uptown, because what happens with the gallery is that they have their events every month, and a lot of people come through. And what they're saying is all those people need a place to eat.
Yeah.
So what they do is they send them to Uptown, because it's the place they want these people to see. And so they would like us in return to maybe put some art and in the businesses. I would like to see maybe art hanging in a business up there that would take an art like the 6740 does it every month.
Yeah.
They have a person who coordinates that in their business, and the art hangs on the wall for a month, and you can buy it if you like, or it just comes down. But it's an opportunity for that artist to showcase their art for a month in that business. If we could get more of our businesses to do that in Uptown, it would be lovely, because a lot of artists would do that.
Yeah.
So that's my goal for the art gallery. My marketing goal is to go into the businesses and see if we could do that. And it's even a goal with Art Stroll is to also, be able to put art in these places for more than a day or two.
Yeah.
So I'm considering changing Art Stroll a bit, maybe going forward to do it on the Wednesday night, the second Wednesday, but to have it go through the weekend. So, in other words, we would have the artists come and set up their stuff on the Wednesday, but I would use my store as a hub, and they could set up in my store as an artist and then leave their stuff through the weekend, and then maybe come in and participate as a meet and greet, meet the artist. We could do demonstrations. We could have classes. We could have paint nights and many other little things. So I'm kind of trying to figure out how to change my business around from a retail perspective, because it's different now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to necessarily have to compete with my neighbors, because the products are available to everybody now. There's no protection anymore that I can have, say, the spray for the toilet, but you can't over here. But so no, everybody can have it.
Yeah.
So it's not a specialty retail item anymore for me. And so, but the artist is, because you're not going to find, unless they have an Etsy that they're selling, you're not going to find their art in every store up here. So I want to try to create my store to be more of an art collective, if you will. And I'm trying to come up with a jazzy name for it. I thought about like United Artists of Whittier, but then I thought, well, I'll get in trouble with the United Artist filmmaking, so I don't want to have any issues with that. But I would like to come up with a real fun name for an artist collective, because the art gallery is there for them, and it's open for them to have their events, and they do monthly events, but it's not open every day. and it's not open in the evening very late. So because my store is a hub in Uptown, and it's right in the center of things, I thought it would be lovely to be able to stay open later in the evening till like 11, have people eat and dine, and then be able to come out after in the evening on Friday and Saturday nights when people are out late, and be able to have a gallery atmosphere, but not the gallery pricing and not the attitude that most galleries have, that it's too expensive, or they wouldn't allow children to come in there, or so I want to make it a family-friendly type of collective where even children's art would be welcome, to have, and then we have a number of local children that are amazing artists. So, so that's my goal, I think, to transition my store into something like that, if I can, because it's very difficult now with the products and merchandise now being so readily available online.
Are you an artist at heart, or where does this come from? Because when you speak about art, it just seems like you're like passionate about it.
Well, I am an artist at heart, I guess. I couldn't pick up a pencil and draw a thing, except for my name. But I'm very creative. I put my whole store together. We do all of our windows. I don't hire anybody to decorate. So everything I do, my gift wrapping, everything comes from the creative side of so the art side is, I guess, the creative side. Yeah. I have an eye for art, I think. And I think I like to help those struggling artists because they don't have enough money to buy a space or pay for rent in a building. Yeah. This gives them a little bit of an opportunity to showcase their art every month. So it's not a specific type of art. So we do have a Day of the Dead event, which is amazing, and we have a fantastic following of that event. But our artists that come to Art Stroll, there are some Day of the Dead artists, but we have artists that are watercolor artists, and so where do they show? Because it wouldn't be acceptable at an event that's specific to one type of art. So I've opened it up to all types of art. Nice. As long as it's handcrafted, handmade, you touched it, you painted it, you put it together, then I'll accept you as a vendor or an artist. I just don't want the event to turn into a masquerade of Mary Kay and commercial type of products, So
Realtors.
I have had Rose Hills hit me up to set up, So I have a submission page. The artist can go to artstrolluptown.com and they can fill out their information on our artist submission page. And then we go to that and we look. And I look to see, I go to their Etsy or I go to their Instagram. If it looks like something that it's acceptable to the Art Stroll, then I let them come in. I don't accept food. We don't have any food vendors. We don't have any pet type of things. I've had people want to do pet grooming art things. I'm like, no, I can't have pets in restaurants. So it's only open to really artists and handcrafted vendors. I'm really looking for more art. Yeah. I'd really like to have more artists that are painting artists. Yeah. So I'm trying to tap into that right now.
So going back to your history here in Whittier, is there any stores or places that you still remember that were kind of started at the same time you did?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Havana House.
Okay.
They came in about the same time. I think Melrose Vintage was already here. Bob's been here a long time, and he's moved around a few places in Uptown, but he's now on Philadelphia. I think he's pretty stable now. Yeah. But Bob's Melrose Vintage has been here a long time. Elias has been here. I mean, there's a few people still here, really. Sage, a lot of the restaurants, Rocky Cola, but there's a lot of change.
Is there any of those businesses that have come and gone that you're like, man, I wish they would have stuck around?
Yeah, there are a few. I mean, our antique store that was here 30 years, I think she had a beautiful gift boutique store.
Where at?
Uptown Antiques.
It
was where Legends is now.
Okay.
And then she was there for 30 years, and then she moved up to where California the Collab Kitchen was. No, she was in the Collab building for a while.
The Marsden?
The Marsden building, and then she got a little ill and ended having to retire. But that was a really, really awesome business, and I think the customers, the
customer base was there.
Yeah, her customer base. She had an awesome base, and I think to this day people still ask, about what happened to that store, or was this the antique store? They come into my store because I was only 2 doors up, and they asked me, and they go, "This store's really changed around a lot." I'm like, no, it was never the antique store. That was always 2 doors down. Yeah. But that store was an awesome store.
You don't say it is the antique store. Try some potpourri.
Look at our selection.
Yeah,
We've changed.
And she didn't carry that product, so that was before her time. But well, that was after her time, rather. But
what other business do you remember that was like, man, it would have been cool if they still were around?
I'm trying to think. There were a couple of shoe stores that we had that were really good.
Yeah.
Clothing stores back in the day, there were better. I mean, from my age group, there were much better clothing stores for me. I mean, the younger generation they've tapped into them now, but back in the day, there was a couple of stores I would like to stay.
How about restaurants?
Restaurants, restaurants are
because you're seeing that change. I mean,
yeah,
right?
I'm seeing a lot of change. I mean, DeTillo's was here the longest, and then became Ravello's. That was kind of a shock because I thought they would be here for much longer.
They are our neighbors.
They're your neighbors?
They're our direct neighbors. Yeah.
The
telephone family.
Yeah, and then let's see. There was a really good Italian restaurant where that was another good Italian restaurant, but it was on Philadelphia where Azabu is, and it was
was there a reason why there was a lot of Italian?
We have a lot of Italian food.
Really?
And a lot of Mexican restaurants, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had Los Portales, where the Zeta is now, or was not Zeta anymore. It's Nixon's.
Nixon,
and then we had El Patio, which was where Sage is, and Mr. De La Parra was 30, 40-year business there, too. And then he had to retire because he got to a point where he needed to sell and move on. And then it's just never stayed. It's like a business, Sage is pretty stable. Been there a long time. Rocky Cola is very stable. I remember when Rocky Cola first came in, there were like 3 Rocky Colas.
What do you
mean? There was one here. There was one in Montrose.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they had 3 different chains. It was a chain.
Okay.
And I don't know whatever happened to the other 2, but ours is still here. I think Rocky Cola is a staple for me. There's not too many. I mean, the theater is still here.
Do you still go? Do you still go and get something from Rocky Colas?
I like Rocky Cola. I like their hot dogs.
See, I used to go when I was a kid or teenager, right at like high school and stuff like that. Go hang out, grab a late night.
They have good breakfast. They do well on them.
Now I go and it's like I don't know what to get. It's like it's hard.
California Grill, no. Everybody likes California Grill. I mean, when California Grill, it was Bob's Big Boy.
That's right.
Originally, when I moved here.
Yeah.
And I remember we used to take the kids there all the time because it's a great place, Bob's Big Boy.
Yeah.
And so when it closed down, I remember it became Bob's Place. And Bob, the owner, he, I don't know, it was Bob's Place. And so we ended up eating there one couple of times, my husband and I'm like, I like it. The food was good. But again, I'm like, it's just, it's not the same, right? So we didn't know how long it would last. It was kind of like, this place won't be here very long kind of thing.
Yeah.
So when it changed to California Grill, the whole dynamic of that place changed. And it's just, it became a very staple corner restaurant, and I think they've done amazing. They have really good food and great service, and their management is awesome.
And they're just nice people.
They're just very nice people and very giving. So, anyways,
how about the theater? I mean, because that's been here forever.
Theater's been here forever.
Do you still sneak in or sneak out of work and out of the store?
I do go once in a while. Now that it has assigned seating, it's much easier than waiting in line all afternoon. So it is a much better situation at the theater. and it's really nice. It's a small theater.
Yeah.
It still has some really cool things about it, and it's been here a long time. So yes, there are things that have come and gone. There's some things that I'd love to see developed, like that big lot that's the old Alpha Beta parking lot. There were so many things that were going to be done there that have never happened. I would love to see either that or make it our only open space that we have, and maybe put something there that we could do events, because we don't really have any place here in Uptown to really have events, an open space, except for the grassy lot, and or we rent, take a parking lot or something. But I really feel like most cities do have a place, an amphitheater, someplace where somebody can sit down and play the guitar for a couple $, just donations, and bring that feel and that vibe back, because it's a good vibe. For me, I love art and music because I think it really makes people happy. It puts them in a real happy place. Yeah. Music makes people tap their feet and, feel the rhythm. And I've never had any issues in 2 years where people were mad or angry or came to our event and, anything ugly happens.
It's entertainment. I mean, you talk about a family who goes out and for the day and hang out. You want to be able to have something for the kids or even the adults to kind of slow your pace, right? Because you could walk up and down Uptown fairly quickly. Yeah. But you're right. You're missing like those in-between moments to be able to kind of slow you down and kind of take that moment and enjoy it, right? So, did you guys have that back then? I mean,
well, I say back then, we used to have art walks, and we could bring people out, and we had amazing events where we had handicap artists, people that painted with their teeth because they had no hands, or so we had that level on Greenleaf, and it was a beautiful events. We had Clayleys, dance studios, performances, food, vendors. We had our July festival every year for many years before we had a few things happen and the event went away. So those are the kind of events that would be nice to bring back the right way so that it could be done without any incidents and have fun. I would love to see the parade brought back at night, the Christmas parade. I think it would be amazing if we could do a parade at night. It used to happen many, many, many years ago.
Like dark night or dark night, right after sunset?
Probably dusk too, but into the evening. You could probably ask Kathy Warner. She could probably tell you a lot about Uptown parade events at night. So that's something I would be exciting to see.
When you say night parade, I automatically think about Disney's Electric Parade, which for me, man, that was awesome. I mean, just
the night parade. Hollywood has their holiday parade on Sunday in the evening. I just think that it would be a nice thing to do, just maybe once to try it again. To see or get a consensus from the community whether they would think that would be something to do. But I think that would be kind of fun too, and more art and music type of events. A music festival. I would love to see a film festival in Whittier. We could do an international film festival and use the theater as a place to show the movies, and use the high school as a place to do the award ceremonies. And I just think a film festival would be dynamic for us to do, and something that we, again, could publish with all those banners on Greenleaf and the banner projects that we have going on. Like I said, Philadelphia, I would love to see more event banners going up when we're having our events a couple months, like car show. Yeah. We should have car show banners up 2 months before, like we have, Antique Fair, to show our events, because when you're driving up and down the street, you see those banners. Yeah. So I'm very thankful that the association put up some art stroll banners, because they're up permanently on the banner poles, and now it's a little bit more out there that it's a serious event that we're trying to have every month.
I think we tend to forget that, because we're here so much, we tend to forget that or we look at it from our perspective, right? We notice things or we don't notice things, but it happens to me, then I go to some like a different town or different area that's kind of similar to us, and I'm like, man, that is a cool little shop, or that's a cool this, or that like that. Like,
or as you're saying right now, you can walk to Uptown, through Uptown pretty quickly. Like I'm always that same way where I'm sprinting to where I got to go and I come back. But actually to sit down and slow down and say, wow, they have this or this is a neat thing, I think we become too numb to it because
there you go.
We, kind of take it for granted.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I want to do the mural project on the parking structure.
Tell us about that. I mean, what are your ideas on that?
That is an idea, and only because the parking structure is really an eyesore. Anyways, the mural project came up because of the parking structure that we have, the older parking structure on Bright. It is kind of an eyesore. And I've been looking at that building from my business for 22 years. Yeah. And so since the grassy lot is so lovely and well-maintained, it would be nice to put some kind of mural on there. And then that way maybe people could drive by, stop and take a picture and not walk so fast up the street and spend some time making it a focal art piece instead of an eyesore. And I think that would draw more attention to it being a parking structure. And I think we could probably make a little bit, maybe a fundraiser to raise money to fix the inside and some of the things that it desperately needs to be done to make it more worthy of using, public restrooms there, parking there, period, better lighting. We can muralize the inside of the parking structure, too. Yeah. I mean, you can muralize anything. Yeah. And I've seen many parking structures that have murals. But mural projects are everywhere. They're in downtown L.A., they're in Long Beach. My mural artist, his name is Sergio Robleto. He's an amazing muralist. And he has a few renderings that we want to present to the city when we have our opportunity. And hopefully, the challenge will be money, obviously. But if we can raise enough money, he could paint that parking structure in about 10 hours. Well, and it would make a huge difference, I think.
Well, Remo's ready to pony up the money as long as he can put a little Remo, the logo on.
If I could put a 10 by 10 logo, and I mean 10 feet,
done.
I always
he
thought
didn't
about
say where.
I always thought about muralizing it with our events. We have car show, put some antique cars, the antique fair. We have furniture. I mean, just throw some mural, stuff like that to maybe some of the events that we do. I don't think Sergio wants to do anything like that, but I always thought it'd be kind of fun to put something like that up and showcase.
And you're saying he can paint it in 10 hours? How big of a section?
Oh, the whole parking structure front of it.
Just the front.
The level.
But you got to remember, it's not. There's not a lot of wall.
Oh, because there's separation between. I was thinking the whole wall is like, my God.
I'm sure you could probably do the whole building in 10 hours. Yeah.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, I was trying to get Mark Broman. Bolin. Thank you, Mark Bolin. On his side, because his side is the raw side of the parking structure wall. On his side of his building would look beautiful there. And I said, just let me know. So I'm also working with Sergeant Sporting Goods. I want them to put a Dodger dugout or a baseball diamond on that side of the wall, on their side. Because, again, we know that when we put murals up, the taggers and the graffiti folks that like to destroy beautiful blank canvases generally will leave that art alone, and they just really don't bother with it too much. And so if we can bring more color into Uptown and bring a lot more diversity with art, I think it would change the whole dynamic of the way Uptown looks, and it would become that artsy, more, destination for art and shopping and dining and staying the entire day and making it a day in Uptown.
I'll tell you this. We definitely have a very unique area, the Uptown area. It's one of a kind. There's so much architecture in this place. And with just sudden changes, you could definitely convert it into something that becomes more of a destination. And the reason why I bring it up is, what was it, last week we had, was it CBS, who came in and did some filming for a couple days. They threw up a couple banners. They changed a couple names. They added a couple more graphics to the corners, right, of these storefronts. And now all of a sudden it's a different town, right? And so just again, it just takes that one eye and that creativity and the willingness to do it, and obviously the funds. But it could definitely become something. So,
yeah, the filming is amazing, and it can bring some definitely needed money from these larger organizations to come in and do filming like that. And we stopped doing it for a long time for reasons I'm not really sure. I don't know. But it makes sense, especially with these awesome movie companies now, and keeping them here in California and not having to leave and go to another place. And Whittier has this just a beautiful city to do filming in, and you're right, so much architectural design and historic values, even some of the homes in the historic neighborhood. And so those scouts are going around and they find, and then they get stuck because they can't do anything here because they had this moratorium on filming. So now it's opened up again, and it has brought back some great
we'll get there.
Great features. Well, we had Father of the Bride was filmed here originally, so that brought a whole group of people when they did that. So now it's a whole new generation, if you will, that will come through, and hopefully Uptown will revitalize, and it'll have lights, and it'll be lit up, and it'll have lots of music and storefronts and people that want to stay open, really late on a Friday and Saturday night, where they could stay open till 10 or 11 o'clock instead of closing at 7 and going home when the streets roll up. So that's what I'd like to see.
I think we're almost there.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
So I think it'll happen in my lifetime. So I'm happy about that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you've already partially answered a couple of your questions, but we'll still ask and maybe see what those are.
So if you were going to get a sandwich somewhere, I know we talked about some of the restaurants, what are your go-to spots for maybe breakfast or lunch, either in Uptown or outside of Uptown?
What's your go-to?
Man, if you have to know, my go-to is Nemo's.
Nice.
I mean, because they're so close, and they do deliver. When I first got here 22 years ago, they didn't deliver, so I'd have to close the door and go down and pick up my food.
Just walking over.
But if I have a lot of go-to places because I've been here 22 years, so I have to say, I have to change it up a little bit because you do get a little tired of the same thing over and over. But I love Colonia. If I work on Thursday nights, I usually order the fideo, or especially if it's cold, or his ceviche tostadas. I mean, there's a lot of go-to places. I like Mr. Sandwich. He has an awesome sandwich. And Mr. Sandwich has been here.
For a long time too,
Mr.
right?
Sandwich has probably been here longer than I have,
You
too.
knew Mr. Sandwich.
No, I knew the original. But but they, they've been here a long time, and they do a really good sandwich. And they're very good to the community also, and they're very good to the association and to events that we have. They do a lot of donations, and I think like that. They really work well with the organizations in our community. So,
what about something that's missing here in the city? Not enough. Well, should we tailor it to Uptown, or
I mean, if something you would like to be brought back,
something that's missing in Whittier, like something that you say, man, like I travel or I go out of the town for this specifically. I think they should bring something here.
Wow. That's a hard one. I mean, I think things are coming down the line, things that I'd like to see. I always wanted an In-N-Out burger. We never got an In-N-Out, but I think we're going to get one now. Well, on Greenleaf would be nice, but any close proximities of having to go to Pico or, I don't know. I mean, I'm not into real big box. I have to go to those stores because, there's really nothing else. But I would like to see some awesome retail for clothing stores, for not just the younger generation, but we don't have any men's
family.
clothing stores either.
Yeah.
Hardly. We had one, and we had one years ago. On Greenleaf, left. We just had one. It's not here anymore. I think that's missing. We don't have any children's stores. There's no children's clothing stores. There's no children's shoes. Yeah. If you want to buy shoes for your kids, you have to go to a big box or outside of Uptown. Yeah. Unless you can find somebody that sells, maybe baby shoes or something. But for that, I'd like to see some more retail. I love the restaurants, and I love the barbers, and I love the salons and the nail salons, but it's pretty saturated at this point with a lot of that. And don't get me wrong, we need all of that. But we need retail, too. Yeah. And it can't go away. It's got to stay. It can't just be a thing of the past, and online is going to be everything in the future. I think people are still going to want a place to go and still touch it and smell it and wrap it and take it as a gift.
So last-minute gifts,
I hope that retail will not be a thing that goes away, eventually. And but I don't know. That's not for me. I'm not sure what's going to happen 10 years from now and how the state of things will change, I mean, it's so different now, right? We're going to have drones delivering packages to your front door and ringing the bell. I'm sure it'll be able to push the button,
We're going to have a drone stealing my package from the other drone. And
Exactly. So drone fights.
Yes. Marilyn, how do people reach or follow your business or the art stroll?
And where is the physical location of your
my business?
Of your business?
Okay, well, my business is located in the heart of Uptown Whittier at 6721 Greenleaf Avenue. Bain is the name of the store. And
social media?
Social media, I have my Facebook page. I no longer have a website because I don't really think I need one. I probably do, but I don't think I need one. Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram. Art Stroll, the same thing. We have a Facebook page at artstrolluptown.com for the website. And for the Instagram, it's Art Stroll Uptown. So, follow us on that. If you're an artist, come and sign up and get involved because it's our only opportunity to showcase something like that every month. And, so we can grow.
If they want to reach out to you, can they reach out to you directly at your store?
Absolutely.
If they're an artist?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a sign out in front of the store. It's an easy up that I have a banner every day and have people walk by and they come in and ask me about it. I have flyers. So if they are interested, they just go to the website. We have an artist submission page. I do have the criteria. It has to be handcrafted, hand-painted, handmade by yourself. Or a group of people that you're working with, if that's what you're doing, a fundraiser type of thing, and you're doing art. But that's what it's acceptable. So we'll look at your work, and if we accept it, then we'll send you the link for you to make the payment to come and participate. And then we'll set you up in a spot, either outside in front of a business, or if inside once we get a larger place that we can start moving things around like pop-ups. They're very fun, and they work really well. So
very cool.
I'd love to start doing more pop-up events in different locations in Uptown when we get the chance.
Marilyn,
like
thank
the brewery when it opens.
That's right. Marilyn, thank you for coming on.
You're
We're
welcome.
definitely have to bring you back on because once you get the art show going even bigger and then this mural pops up, then we'll have to bring you back to explain what else you've been doing.
Yeah, I'd love to come back. Thank you for having me.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, Whittier.
Bye, Whittier.
We'll see you later.